Today is a very special day as today is the first of many THAG Talks. It's a series that we're starting where we're engaging professionals in the sector who has a significant interest in discussing key topics. So basically develop what we currently do and how we can enhance what we do to share data, share ideas, and how we could basically move Guyana, the tourism sector forward. The tourism industry is no stranger to innovation, constantly evolving to meet the changing demands and expectations of travelers worldwide. Today, we're diving into how AI technologies are reshaping the way we travel, explore destinations, and experience the world. Our topic today is digital transformation in hospitality, leveraging artificial intelligence for success. Our speaker today is Mr. Eldon Marks, a tech entrepreneur from Guyana, who founded V75 Inc. and built it to become Guyana's first AI company and has been building AI solutions for global clients since 2018. Ellen has spent 2 decades in a tech academic career. He's a practitioner and social entrepreneur, mentoring thousands and creating opportunities worldwide and creating innovators in Guyana. He holds a master's degree in computer science with a focus on AI from Howard University. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me delve into the world of AI through tourism as we explore the industry and how we can really leverage AI for our success. Eldon, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lorenzo, and thank you, THAG, for organizing these very important talks, especially in an era like we are in at the moment, the era of generative AI. And it's a pleasure to be here to share with you much of our insights and our experiences in terms of working within the field. I believe that AI is a force for good if used correctly. And of course, the critical part is understanding it and closing that confidence gap around it. So talks like these are very, very critical in moving forward. With regards to the hospitality industry, there is a huge, huge potential for applying powerful AI technologies to augment and optimize the tourism and hospitality sectors, not just within Guyana, but within the region or anywhere else that relies on tourism heavily. So this particular talk is really just information sharing and just understanding the audience. I prepared a bit of a background to share with you what V75 is all about and what True Self is all about. So in a nutshell, V75 is our main tech company, and V75 is a 100% Guyanese technology company. We've been in operation for a number of years, and one second, sorry. Oh, accidentally clicked the link. Yeah, we've been in operation for a number of years. And over those years, we and our ventures have created over 50 tech jobs for Guyanese. And we've upskilled hundreds in tech. And we've pioneered a shift in the paradigm of exporting talent to exporting AI innovation. And we played a critical role in the local tech community, just activating that local tech community by hosting digital industry exhibitions, hackathons for social good. And of late, just last November, we launched our AI for Development showcase at the Marriott. And you can check that out in terms of the proceedings at ai4devent.org. And through V75's ventures and its work within the local tech sector, we've built a number of different software systems that benefit positively thousands of citizens. One of them in particular is Ferry Pass. Those of you who might have traveled from Parika or along the waterways, you would have used our software as well. So our passion is really just harnessing technology in order to make it useful and transform our landscape. So in terms of understanding the nature of this talk, I boiled it down to three main questions that we'll be answering during the conversation. And the first of which is, what are the key AI concepts that I should know as someone in tourism and hospitality, for example? I know it's a relatively popular topic. AI is very vast. We're going to be narrowing it down to specific concepts that should be known, but they're not necessarily an all-encompassing coverage of AI, just specifically the ones that the topics that are very important at this time, especially in the generative AI age. The second question is, what can AI really do for my tourism and hospitality business? So here is a multi-part, is going to be a multi-part answer in terms of that. Just understanding the sector and then diving into some of the challenges that can be addressed by AI, as well as the technologies that we can present to answer those questions. And then finally, what's it going to cost? That's going to be a very, very important part in terms of looking at how do we employ AI integrated within our business and not necessarily break the bank in doing so. So in terms of the key AI concepts that you should know, we've boiled it down to three major concepts. So you should be aware of what generative AI is. We should be aware of what an AI model is, and you should be aware of what an AI agent is. So I'm going to go through as fundamentally as possible and as simply put as possible to explain these concepts and how they interconnect. So starting with the foundation, where we came from. So at some point in our tech journey, we were able to solve a problem ourselves. And then we were able to prescribe the steps that we took to solve that problem and put it in a computer program, and then have the computer program solve that very problem for us over time and as many times as we'd like. And that's what we call programming. So programming is a fundamental concept that would get you into understanding where we are with regards to where AI is at the moment. So after that, along our progression, we discovered that if we threw enough data into a program and told it what we expected as the outputs, then the program can eventually get to a point where it's smart enough in order to think on its own and solve not just that original problem, but a wide variety of different problems, because it understands the patterns of matching inputs with expected outputs. And that's an oversimplified explanation, but that's effectively where we are when it comes to generative AI. And the program that I was talking about here, in terms of program that's been, funneled with vast amounts of data, is really, in this day and age, it's referred to as a model. And you hear AI models being mentioned, large language models and the like. So effectively, this is the concept of generative AI, where these models have been given enough insights into our understanding of the world. They've been given enough information with regards to our factual and other contextual basis of knowledge, rather information that becomes knowledge. And they've been given the imprints of how we reason as human beings by reinforcement. And through those combinations, they've been able to generate their own outputs based on very simple instructions. And it's a very, very, exciting era where we have these models that have been able to be imbued with our vast array of knowledge, as well as the reasoning capabilities of human beings. And then we're seeing that these models are growing in leaps and bounds in terms of their capabilities. They're models that are able to match and even surpass human level communication. There are other models that are able to generate entire videos on their own, stable diffusion, diffusion-based models. And there are other models that are able to generate images, very, very lifelike images. And there are various other modalities that these models can actually be lent to. So it's a very exciting time with regards to generative AI. And this is where we are with generative AI right now. So we came from the realm of programming, and then we built these amazing models that can think on their own on our behalf. And we've been able to put together a program and a model, for example, or a number of different models that can do various things. And what results from that is the production of an AI agent. So agents are really, really cool. And a lot of AI experts are suggesting that the future is agentive, whereby these models will be harnessed by programs, wrapped by programs, to produce things or perform things that human beings would otherwise have to perform on their own. And we can scale them unlike anything before. So we have a proliferation of agents, these programs that leverage very capable models that are able to do things on our behalf, that are able to think on our behalf as well. And where that puts us is in a position where, you know, we can kick back more or less and be highly productive simply because much of the menial tasks can be offloaded to these agents. And the basis of this, at least going over this, is how do we take these agents, for example, and apply them, particularly when it comes to tourism and hospitality. So this is where we answer the question, what can AI really do for my tourism and hospitality business? Just looking at tourism and hospitality, there are a number of different facets, but the major facets are accommodation, food, attractions, travel, and transportation. And just digging a bit more into understanding that sector, we can see that tourism really sells experiences. That's the best way that I can sum it up. Tourism sells experiences. So folks are, tourists are looking to escape and experience, and they usually travel to do so. They go to different places. They taste different foods and the like. And it's highly customer facing because of this. In addition to that, within the sector, building and maintaining customer relationships are key. They're key to staying in business. They're key to thriving as a tourism and hospitality establishment. And knowing your customers and understanding trends are integral to staying competitive, because it's always a changing market. Tastes shift over time, trends shift over time. Staying on top of the needs and the interests of your target customers would obviously keep you as competitive as you should be. And then, of course, everyone's looking for convenience. There's not a customer out there that doesn't want to, go through an effortless experience of getting something done. So convenience is a huge seller across the board, but in particular in the tourism sector, it's paramount. So let's talk about the challenges within the sector. So there's clearly a resource and talent shortage, not just within the tourism sector, I think across the board, but specifically within the tourism sector, there's a resource and talent shortage. There's also this inability to provide consistent customer service quality. Human beings are, they're amazing creatures, but of course we flag sometimes, and our delivery is not as well maintained as it should be over time. And what you find is that another major issue is there is an inability to provide very responsive and personalized customer service. Many of us have experienced trying to reach some sort of establishment and being put in a waiting line or a call list and possibly not even getting on to the establishment. And that loses business over time. So being able to actually man all of your various channels and respond almost immediately is also one of the challenges of the business. And then, of course, with your growing customer base, to stay on top of things and understand your customers, you need to gather information, you need to gather feedback, you need to analyze all of that information. And that can become overwhelming, especially with with the number of different guests that you need to keep track of. And then, of course, we live in a very diverse world where people speak a number of different languages. And of course, within the tourism sector, we experience this growing multilingual customer base that we need to keep track of. And this can pose some challenges along the way in terms of just communicating with your guests. So I present these to really underscore the gaps within the sector. Of course, this may not necessarily be a comprehensive list of the challenges, but it would set the stage to present how we can really address some of these challenges with technology. So talking about technology, I'd like to introduce TrueSelf. TrueSelf is an agentive platform that we built over at V75 Inc. And we built TrueSelf with the idea that AI should be accessible and it should be democratized. It should not have to cost an arm and a leg. And every organization that needs it should be able to afford it and maintain it over time. And for that, we engineered specifically the platform to allow just that, to really remove the overheads, remove all of the necessary resource pulls that you typically experience with regards to AI-based deliveries, and bring it as close and affordable to the pockets of those who need it the most. So our agents are, great at speaking up to 50 different languages, for example. And I'll go through a number of different other features with regards to this agentive platform. With the agents that we produce, there is 24/7 availability, instant response times. A single agent can speak to a multitude of guests simultaneously and keep track of each conversation in a separate manner and a tailored manner as well. They're able to remember every single customer, their preferences, and provide personalized recommendations, which is key. And it's a selling point with regards to using AI. This is one of the main things with regards to the advantage of using AI agents to engage, because they're smart enough to understand language and concepts and relationships. And they're also able to be instructed to maintain a conceptual understanding of each and every guest. And you can tell the agent what to pay attention to. If you want the agent to pay attention to, let's say, the members of the family of the particular guests, or the preferences or the allergies and so forth, that can easily be done and configured within this particular platform, for example. And then you can use that conceptual understanding of each of your guests to have very, interesting, friendly conversations with those guests. Engagement goes up. And then you can also recommend without the guest having to reiterate what their preferences are over time. With these agents that are powered by powerful language models, you're able to have tailored unscripted responses. And you're even able to put your own content in there. So those responses leverage your own specifics, your question answer database, for example, or your list of amenities, for example. And then, of course, engagement is possible. Scalable customer engagement is possible. Like I mentioned, a single agent can speak to a multitude of customers at the same time over a multitude of channels, such as all of the messaging platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, etc., email, telephone, and the list goes on. And then what's more is we're able to integrate these agents with your back office systems. So if you have reservation management systems, for example, that have APIs that can plug into other programs, an agent is effectively a program, and it can speak to your back office system, and it can query information from it and then update information on it, fully automating your entire operations if you wish. Here are a few more. They're configurable personalities with faces. So these agents can be very human-like. So you can put a face and a voice. The voices can even be cloned, and it can sound like me. It can sound like you if you wish. And they're always in a great mood. So you can configure the personality and the demeanor of the agent so that they always greet their guests, whether it's 2 a.m. or 4 p.m. in a friendly and engaging way. And they're able to manage bookings, for example, which is critical in terms of hospitality establishments, over the phone, messaging platforms, emails. No more forcing the guests to go to interfaces, for example, to make bookings. So you can handle all of that conversationally, which is super powerful. And this is one in particular that I like. Your agents can, if you let them, post to your Facebook page automatically and read from your Facebook page automatically. So they can help with your marketing automation. And they're able to conduct interviews conversationally. Let's say that a guest engaged the agent originally over WhatsApp. Upon cue, you can set the agent out to speak to the guests, check in with them at certain intervals, gather information from them in terms of their experience, so that you can take that information later on. And then you can have another agent give insights in terms of the compendium of feedback that you would have received, thereby allowing you to make informed decisions in how to adjust your service over time. And there is so much more. Just to give you an example, there's hospitality training agents. So you can actually have your AI agents train your human staff on certain things so that it can automate the process and keep it as consistent as possible. You can have operations management agents that help to coordinate and streamline certain scheduling of maintenance and upkeep and the like. And then you can have staff companions that, let's say that you have a new staff that's on board and they're unsure about certain things. They're able to query or just have a conversation with the agent just to clarify on procedures and so forth. And then there are agents that can do demand forecasting. They can look at the feedback that's received and they can patch into data sets in terms of trends and then provide predictions with regards to pricing and the preparation of an influx of guests based on the seasons and trends. What I'm about to show you, and we're going to get a bit technical, is a demo of a hospitality agent that we created specifically for this talk. This agent combines a number of different abilities, and these abilities are able to, one, take custom content and provide responses to them. The agent is also able to take reservations. The agent is also able to keep track of the user so that there's user modeling features inside of the agent. And I'm going to start the recording here, and you'll also get an insight into our platform as well. So for the next 8 minutes or so, we'll be going through this particular demo. I'm going to play just a few seconds, and you let me know if you can hear the audio. So this is our True Self dashboard. Can you hear that?
I heard it clearly.
Yes. Great. Yes, we can hear.
All right, so sit back and I'll take you through the True Self platform, and we're going to go through the demo of the hospitality agent. And we're going to take you through a specific demo of an agent that is capable of remembering every single guest and remembering specific things about the guest, their stays at the resort, and facilitating reservations and answering questions about rooms and amenities and other activities at the resort. Her name is Lila, and this is Lila's dashboard. Every single agent of ours has an analytics dashboard, much like this, where we can monitor the engagement with the agent. We can also look at the anonymized logs so that we can identify how the agent's actually exchanging messages with the guests and how the agent's actually doing over time. We're going to jump into a power user view of the agents. We call it the brain. And these nodes that are colored circling this particular larger node it's a collection of abilities that the agent's been configured with. So the flexible thing about our agents is that we can mix and match a number of different abilities depending on their particular cases of use. Lila's been outfitted with a knowledge base, so she can answer questions specific to this fictitious resort that we created. She's also been outfitted with an embodiment as well as a personality configuration tool. So we can give Lila a face and a voice, and we can also give Lila a personality and then tweak that personality as time goes by. So now I'm going to take you through what Lila actually knows. So this is part of Lila's knowledge base, and our agents allow you to specify your own content. So she's been given information about a few rooms and the specifics about the rooms. She's also been given information about activities and restaurants and food and what have you. So Lila is able to access from this array of information as needed, depending on the user's request, and then serve that information up in a paraphrased manner so that they can answer the user's questions. Now, this is completely configurable. There are features whereby we can allow Lila to scrape your website if you have a website with information on it, and she will automatically assimilate that content into her knowledge base as well. There are other features where we can have Lila integrate with your back office reservation management system, for example, so she can pull information directly from there and write information to there as long as there is an API available. So configuration options are entirely almost limitless. And of course, this is for the purpose of this demo, what we're going to be using in terms of her internal knowledge base. The other feature that I want to show you is the embodiment configuration. So like I mentioned, we can give our agents faces and voices. So this is Lila's face. This is an AI-generated face of a human being that we used. And we use a voice cloning service. And from this service, we're able to have an array of stock voices, or we can clone your voice or a voice of your choice. There are two modes of cloning. There's a shallow level of cloning whereby it matches it to a good degree, but it's not accurate. But then there is a more extensive level in terms of cloning where you can capture dialect and intonation and anything specific. So you can create very locally attuned voices as time goes by. The other aspect that I'd like to show you is the personality composer, or persona composer as we call it. All this requires from you initially is just a brief description of the agent, the name of the agent, the role of the agent, and certain other attributes that you'd like the agent to have. And you can just write this out without any structure in mind. And the system will read this, glean from it particular personality type indicators in accordance with the personality metric of choice. We're using DISC for Lila. And then it's going to be able to produce an entire persona matrix that will drive the conversation and will drive Lila's demeanor with regards to interacting with your guests. Later on, you can go back into attributes and you can fine-tune Lila's indicators. So we can change her particular indicators when it comes to the DISC matrix, as well as other, facts about Lila, such as her gender, her strengths, etc. Entirely configurable personalities for agents. So now I'm going to take you through a chat with Lila. The premise is that Lila's interacted with this fictitious guest that I'm going to be role-playing as. His name is John, and he has a family, and he stayed at the resort in the past. So Lila's going to pick up on the conversation because she's actually going to be remembering him. She maintains a user model for every single user. And from that particular user model, we were able to tell Lila what to remember, what specific things to remember about our guests, so that we can personalize recommendations and interactions moving forward.
Oh, hello, John. It's great to hear from you. How can I help you today? Are you planning another visit to Paradise Haven Resort?
So right here is an example. She's picking up the conversation. She remembers that I am John, or she remembers that I stayed there last time. I'm going to tell her, just enter into some, small talk with her. Absolutely. We had a baby as well. So it's really been an exciting time for us.
Oh, congratulations, John. That's wonderful news. How's the little one doing? I'm sure John Jr. and Amy are thrilled to have a new sibling. Are you thinking about bringing the whole family, including the baby, to Paradise Haven Resort for a little getaway? So
here's an example of her tapping into specific things that she's remembered about the last interaction with John. And she remembers the names of his children because he shared that with her, as well as the fact that, the entire family came up. And now she's querying, which is, the logical thing to do, whether the entire family is going to be coming up. And this is going to influence her choice of cabin, for example. Yeah, we're looking to bring everyone up this summer. What do you have in mind?
That sounds fantastic, John. Given your family's love for the Lakeview cabin and the private pool, I think you'd really enjoy our new poolside modern villa. It has a private pool, which I know John Jr. and Amy will love, and plenty of space for the new baby. Plus, it's close to all the family-friendly activities at the resort. Would you like me to check availability for you?
That sounds wonderful. How much is it?
The poolside modern villa is $500 per night. It's a great choice for your family, with direct pool access and plenty of space for everyone, including the new baby. Would you like me to check availability for your preferred dates?
Yeah, we're looking to come up next Friday for 5 days.
Absolutely, John. Let me check that for you. You're in luck. The poolside modern villa is available from next Friday for 5 nights. Would you like me to go ahead and reserve it for you?
Yes, please.
Great choice, John. I'll reserve the poolside modern villa for you from next Friday for 5 nights. To confirm your reservation, we'll need a down payment of $500. You can use the code AO3RFG during checkout. If you have any other requests or need assistance with planning activities, feel free to let me know. Looking forward to welcoming you and your family back to Paradise Haven Resort.
All right, so that demo there was portrayed through the web-based interface. Now, there are a number of different channels that you can place your agent through. WhatsApp is another channel, and you can send your agent voice notes if you don't want to actually type things out. And the experience will be more or less comparable. And of course, other messaging platforms are possible, Facebook Messenger. You can even interact with your agent via email if you wish, as long as you want to set that up. And it's the same agent through a number of different channels that are available. Next demo that I want to show you is pretty brief, and it also exemplifies the recommendation aspects. And then, of course, if you have your phone out, you can scan this QR code right now and speak to Iris. So Iris is pretty much a free agent that we've put out there for Guyanese. We wanted her to pretty much be this information resource over time, but she's evolving to be a tour guide for Guyana, so a national tour guide for Guyana. We use Iris. I'll start this recording here. We use Iris for the past Guyana Restaurant Week, where we worked with THAG. We got all of the information of all of the restaurants. We put it into Iris. Iris was able to make recommendations, answer questions about the list of restaurants. And and she was also able to furnish the menus, the scanned menus of the various establishments. The multimodal capabilities are possible as well. Right, so as you can see there, so Iris was shown she rendered that menu to the guest over WhatsApp. And of course, like I mentioned, you're able to have voice notes as well, sent and received. All right, so on to the last question. What's it going to cost to have tech like this integrated into your operations? So in 2024, and this is according to Springs, we are seeing that small scale AI products cost between $10,000 US and $100,000 US. Medium-sized AI products cost between $100,000 US and $500,000. And then large-size AI products cost between $500,000 to just under $1 million. And then there are even enterprise scale AI products that go well over $1 million. And then in terms of maintaining these products, you're looking at upwards of $60,000 a year. The thing is, AI isn't cheap. And this is really what we're trying to address as we build this platform and we move forward. And it doesn't have to break the bank in terms of True Self, the product itself. So as I was mentioning, we designed True Self to make powerful AIs accessible and affordable by engineering this special platform that just simplifies everything, from configuring your AIs to deploying it and monitoring it in the cloud. And then we're working on the ability to hand it over to you entirely. So we want to remove the developers from the equation because, of course, that would definitely drive the cost up. We want to make it self-serve for just about anyone without any technical knowledge to get into the dashboard and then pick a combination of abilities that are needed in an a la carte fashion. So I'll need that particular feature, I need that feature and that feature. Bundle it together and create your own AIs and put them to work. And then all of the abilities, they're abilities that we're engineering and we're adding to a catalog every single day. And this would only improve over time. So the system itself, the more individuals that are on the system and the more individuals that employ the platform, the stronger the platform becomes and the better the product becomes for everyone. So effectively, we're on this path to deliver custom leading edge AI solutions at off-the-shelf costs, because we believe that everyone should be able to access this technology in spite of their economic situation. All right. Now, a perspective for you is that you can look at AI agents as your digital employees. Now, True Self is obviously not the only agentive platform out there. As I mentioned, the future is agentive, but True Self's particular mission is a unique one because, of course, it's originating from a developing part of the world. So we understand the particular needs, both economic and otherwise. And to look at employing this in your business, you want to think of, your own digital employees that work 24/7, well below minimum wage. So we're looking at about $200 per agent per month. That's well below minimum wage in terms of just having an agent out there that can speak to a multitude of clients, work tirelessly 24/7. They never necessarily get tired, and they integrate with your existing software, your business management software, your reservation management software, etc. And they can communicate through the digital means or digital channels that you typically would communicate with your clients, such as email messaging platforms, and they can even interact with your calendars. And then the unique thing about this is personalization. So every single agent is able to remember every single customer in that stark level of detail. Every single agent is able to remember every piece of information that you hand over to it in that stark level of detail and provide tailored responses. And they never have a bad day, and they're always in a great mood. So those are typically the selling points. So there's a huge opportunity here with regards to employing your digital employees, these AI agents, in your operation to completely optimize, maintain that level of consistency and quality when it comes to your customer-facing deliveries. All right, so I'm wrapping up, and I wanted to make sure that all of the participants here are able to have a chance at benefiting from a giveaway. And we would have, through the collaboration of IDB Lab, gotten some funding to work with a number of different organizations and companies in Guyana. Unfortunately, that funding has come to an end. So all of the 15 spots that have been allocated through the funding have all been taken up. But those who are present today will have the opportunity of an additional spot where we provide to you funded AI enablement for your particular tourism and hospitality establishment. And what that means is that you'll get AI innovation strategy consulting from our team. You'll be able to have us build your particular solution based on your needs. And it's a risk-free, no obligations period of 6 months, which means that within that time, we can deliver the solution to you. We can have it set up in your operations. You can monitor how much of a difference it makes. And then if you don't like it, then you don't continue with it. But if you do, then we can enter into a service level agreement and continue that, that goodness that it brings. And then, of course, the only requirement that we have here is that you have to be based in Guyana. So, of course, buy local. So we are going to be supporting our local tourism and hospitality establishments with this giveaway. And to run this, I am going to ask you to take your phones out, your mobile phones. Unfortunately, if you're on your mobile phone, I'm so sorry. See if you can get a way to scan a QR code that I'm going to be displaying on screen here. We're using this free service called Easy Raffle. I'm going to start the raffle now. And I'm going to be presenting a QR code. And I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to get ready. When I present the QR code, then I'd ask you to just scan it with your phone. When you scan the QR code with your phone, you'll be entered into the raffle. We'll give everyone time to scan in, and then we'll start the raffle and then pick the lucky winner. All right, here we go. All right, good. So scan that QR code right now. And I'll give everyone about a minute or so just to get enrolled.
Who will be the lucky winner?
Uh-oh, false start. Sorry, guys. Let's start that again. Let's try again. All right. Okay, good. Okay, so another minute or so to scan in. And there you go. That's what we want to see. We want to see folks in there. There you go. All right. Okay, so more folks are scanning in. Give you guys another minute.
Yes, please.
All right, should we close the raffle and pick the winner? Is there anyone else trying to scan in? No? All right, closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Who will be the lucky winner?
I'm going to spin this 3 times. So we get 3 choices. So wilderness. Congratulations. All right. We're going to spin it a few more times just in the event that, you know, we're unable to work with wilderness. But I'm sure we'll be able to work with wilderness. Let's spin again. So wilderness, everyone make a note.
Who will be the lucky winner?
Amadel, congratulations. So you're a backup. So more or less you're a runner-up. Let's pick another one. All right.
Who will be the lucky winner?
Okay, so in the event that Wilderness and Obanella won't necessarily qualify in terms of for some reason or the other, then McGavia Gonzalez will take the prize. So congratulations to Wilderness, and we'll definitely be reaching out to you. We'll need your contact in terms of reaching out so we can understand your requirements. Awesome. Okay, so this pretty much ends the presentation, and I'd like to thank everyone for their time. I'll open the floor for any questions that you may have. I'll probably just leave the first slide up here. There we go. Okay. So questions. Lorenzo, would you like to moderate the questions?
Yes, I was just trying to unmute. Thank you so much for the presentation, Eldon. I know a lot of people are wondering if I'm actually AI moderating this this webinar, but I'd like to confirm that I'm not. And for those who have questions, you can just raise by a show of hands via the app, and to state your name and the business you're representing, and you can ask any questions you'd like. Actually, if no one has any questions, I actually have a few questions while reviewing the presentation.
Lorenzo, I have one question.
Sure, no problem.
It was said that this can be connected to our property management systems, our front office reservation systems via the appropriate API. Do you create the API as well, or is that our responsibility to get that done?
As long as your back office furnishes an API, then we can integrate with it. So that's the real question. But typically, if it's modern enough, there's likely to be an API to plug into.
Okay, that's good. All right, thank you.
All right, good question. Any other questions?
Yes, Eldon, I actually have a question. Can AI technologies be part of predictive analytics and automation streamline in the operational process for hotels, lodges, or resorts?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I touched on that. So these models that are available right now are reasoning at a level that is comparable to a very, very smart human being. And what that means is that they can take on, as long as the information is funneled into them well enough, they can take on a vast array of information and identify, based on directives, certain insights, connections, and what have you to deliver suggestions. So, for example, if it is that you'd like the AI to look at, exchanges or chat-based exchanges between customers and the human-based agents over time, and identify the consensus in terms of the tone of the conversation, or whether the customer was able to achieve their particular goal in conversing with the human agent, and score it.
Right.
Those things are entirely possible. It really comes down to being able to get that content and have the agent scour the content, looking at certain indicators, and then presenting a report based on that.
Right. And I noticed something as well during the dialogue. The AI was extremely detailed in terms of what you'd want as a returning customer. So is it a case where AI can also predict and also get preferences before they are explicitly expressed?
Absolutely. So that demonstration was done from the premise of the human in the demonstration, John, and the AI, Lila. They would have engaged one another in the past. We have an ability within our agents that allow them to pay attention to the conversation and extract and retain certain specific details that they come across. So Lila was trained to pay attention to, members of the family, the place where the guest would have stayed, the impression that the guest would have left with regards to their experience, those specific things. And she retained that specific to John, and she can do that specific to every single other guest, thousands of guests. And the moment that any one of those thousands of guests engages Lila, she remembers, she pulls up their model, she's always keeping track, and then she uses that when she needs to use it to facilitate a conversation, to facilitate recommendations, without the user having to explicitly remind her or say these things that, you know, I have a family and I'm looking for a family-based cabin. So it makes that entire experience even more convenient. So instead of, you know, browsing through lists of possible options, you can pretty much say to the AI, hey, I'm looking for a good recommendation for a place to stay for the family vacation, and give me some ideas of certain attractions to bundle with that. And you can pretty much off of that single statement, have the AI take care of everything and make those recommendations, confirm with the user, and then move forward.
Oh, that's absolutely impressive. You know, I can say Hollywood has villainized AI, and it is somewhat of a stigma. How would you respond to that?
Yeah, we all saw the Terminator movies, right? But
We have Skynet.
here's the fallacy where that's concerned. Where these models are right now, they represent a collection of all of our knowledge. So the way that the progression goes is that, you know, well into the olden days, they were originally tablets that people chiseled on. Then they became scrolls, and then the scrolls became books, which are like a number of different scrolls together. And then the books became libraries. And then the libraries became the internet. And now the models have consumed the entire internet and then some, and those models have our collective knowledge. And the funny thing is that during, or at least following that progression, the point at which the AI is approaching is to have a systemic perspective on all things and relationships of all things. And that systemic perspective will actually debunk a reality like what happened in Terminator, for example. The AI would be enough that if they nuke the human race, they themselves will be affected. Right?
Right.
But,
Correct.
you know, so the progression. Yeah, go ahead.
So go ahead. It's fine. The progression.
Saying that the progression that we see right now is that they are exceeding a certain level of understanding in terms of that systemic perspective, and they can understand more than we can as human beings why it's important that every individual, every facet of the system be left alone or be part of that system, because everything is connected. So effectively, AI is, if you feed it enough healthy information, they can become enlightened enough in order to help us to become better human beings. And that's what we're looking at.
Right. I'm just reading some questions from the chat. Carla is asking,
as well.
Yeah, what can you share about data security, especially if this AI is used by many businesses?
You said data security?
Correct, yeah.
Right. So that's one thing we definitely need to pay attention to. The free version of ChatGPT, for example, it's been mentioned, if you don't know this, don't share any sensitive information on that free version of ChatGPT, because it's going to be used again to train up the model. And OpenAI makes this freely available. So you'll need to know which types of plans that are safe enough in order to share content. So that's at the level of the consumer. When it comes to developers, we're developing AI products. We have to develop responsibly. TrueSelf as a platform has layers that protect the privacy of all of the engaging customers or individuals or users that may share information. It has a dedicated data anonymization layer, which scrubs sensitive information from any logs that may be used nefariously, for example. So there are two facets to this. The consumers need to know when or where to share their information, where not to share their information. And the developers need to build responsibly in order to preserve that privacy and protect the user's rights to their own personal information. Yeah.
All right. Next question is from Yannick. You can unmute.
Thanks, Lorenzo. Hey, what's up, Eldon?
Hey,
Well, I think what you presented is literally the missing piece for my restaurant. I know we had a brief chat at the restaurant the other night. So my question is, where do I sign up? I'm ready to go.
sorry I didn't win the raffle, but
No, trust me, I don't need a raffle. I'm ready to go.
all right.
But I was also interested in, so what I have set up a system where every person that makes a reservation, about 12 to 24 hours after dinner, they get an email asking them to give some feedback on their experience. It would be cool, and you could tell me if that AI can then go read those emails, know of the experience that the customer had, and then relate that back, not just to management, but also to staff, so that those experiences, the bad experiences can be fixed and the good ones can be recorded.
That's entirely possible. We can go a step further and figure out a way in which we can integrate the choice the choice from the menu and inform the AI of the choice from the menu, so the AI can proactively just, hey, what is it, the black burger?
Yeah.
How was the black burger? And in terms of just checking in on the quality of the meal. So we can explore things of that nature, where it's more like a companion that just messages on a medium that we are all very familiar with, like WhatsApp.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. We'll talk.
So, great.
All right, thank you, Yannick. Francesca, you can go ahead.
Where does it all start with regards to the information that needs that could be used? Is it like Yannick has, where he already has responses and you plug those in, or do you have to basically create that so that the AI could process that?
Right. Yeah, good question. So on its own, the AI can just have its base personality and role, and it'll do its best within that base personality and role to answer the questions and engage the customers. But we do always recommend that you give it context. So it's important that the AI is able to properly represent your establishment, which means that you'll have to give the AI an understanding of the ins and outs and the details and the procedures and the offerings of your establishment in order for it to be an effective tool over time. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, so basically, if you're not gathering this information already, like really effectively, then they need to. Is that correct?
Well, you're speaking about the information in terms of feedback from your guests.
Yes, because I don't know, I kind of got the impression that matters in terms of how the AI could tell what the customer or return customer may be interested in.
I understand. So the way that we envision the user modeling working with these AIs is that if you'd like to track, let's say, just for the sake of an example, the food aversions, for example, from your guests. Just pick one thing. If you want an AI to track the food aversion from your that your guests may have, then the user model will be designed to pay attention to any conversation or any response from the user that relates to them uttering or expressing their food aversion. And then on top of that, on the other hand, the AI can be designed to lead the user into a conversation where they talk about their food aversion. So once the AI leads them into the conversation and engages them about their food aversions, then the user model can then do its work, pick up, and remember moving forward. And of course, you can multiply those various points of interest. So it can not just be food aversions, but other particular details that you'd like the AI to pay attention to and remember about the user over time. And it's highly configurable.
Okay. So I think the presentation, just as it was dealing with the tourism industry, only really in this for now caters for on the customer in terms of uh what booking and other relatable matters,
Right.
reservations. What about marketing?
Yes, of course. So I did mention that these agents are able to, we have an ability right now that allows your agent to be able to read from your Facebook page and post to your Facebook page. So that can be automated as well. So that's an example of one way in which we can have these agents help to do some marketing on our behalf and automate things.
Okay, I guess I'm still not, I know I have to be educated on this for sure. Because I still don't quite get where does it all start? Like if you're coming to me, you say, all right, how do we get started?
All right. So
Where the information comes from.
So it starts with us understanding what your business actually does, so we can identify a point of insertion with regards to the technology. So if you, let's say, there's an aspect of your business where you coordinate your staff members, for example, and you somehow use, let's say, a spreadsheet to do that, and they're on a schedule, then that could be a potential point of insertion to have an agent offset the overhead that you will have in terms of coordinating your staff, because agents can write to spreadsheets and read from spreadsheets themselves if your staff would be looking at the spreadsheet on that end. So that's one level in terms of operational integration. Then there are opportunities with regards to customer facing examples that, I think a ton of examples that we shared in this presentation, where you can insert the AI into these communication channels to respond to your guests, to respond to your customers, so that your staff are freed up to do other more important things. So it all depends on your operational outlay and the points of insertion of these technologies. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Francesca. We have another question in the chat. Miss Anne Hamilton is asking, how can she make contact with you?
Okay, so our contact information is right on the screen down at the bottom if you're still seeing my shared screen. So my personal number is all the way to the end. It's 641-5808. And you can email operations@v75ing.com.
All right. And Mr. Greg Chan is asking, it's a follow-up to Carla's question. How is privacy handled by your application, and how is user-generated data stored or used? I think this is a small concern for tourists when share potentially sensitive data.
Of course. So as I mentioned, we built our platform so that there are anonymization layers inbuilt. So regardless of what the AI exchanges, we mask sensitive information automatically. So the sensitive information is not retained in our system. The other aspect with regards to user modeling, there is a very specific, or at least tailored part, which we usually are in charge of with regards to the indicators or the details that the AI is instructed to pay attention to. As long as those details are not invasive, then it's perfectly fine. But we do not configure AIs to pay attention to invasive details, such as, addresses and credit card numbers or something to that effect. So it's from the developer's standpoint, there are measures in place. Further to that, there's within our platform the embodiment layer, which uses faces and voices. You might have seen in that screenshot, there's in terms of the configuration, we can't necessarily allow persons to use someone else's likeness or voice without agreeing that they would have had that consent. And when an embodied AI is put out there, the embodiment is given a digital likeness signed certificate, which validates that if it is of a human being, then this person would have had official permission to use the likeness of that human being. If it's of an AI-generated individual, then it would indicate as such. So from the development standpoint, there are measures in place to protect data privacy as well as misinformation and disinformation, especially if you're going to emulate human speech and likenesses. Right?
Okay, great, perfect. We have Mr. Fitzgerald, who is, yeah, you can unmute.
Thank you, thank you. It was a great presentation by Eldon on the potential for AI. I just want to add that, interestingly, I was at a conference on AI week of the 8th of July, and the Sandals, everybody in this group should know about Sandals. The Sandals senior corporate director in charge of the Sandals Corporate University was there, and she noted that Sandals is actively using AI in its staff training and plans to share its AI capabilities with its partners in the region. And she noted the need for ethical guidelines in AI usage, and the need for Caribbean content, and the need for sensitization of people. And to quote from her, she said, humans who do not know about AI would be replaced by those who know about AI. And she also noted the need for collaboration in AI rollout. So I think that's very timely, and maybe folks could even contact Sandals to see what they're doing in terms of their active usage of AI already in their operations. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that.
Welcome.
Thank you for sharing, Fitzgerald. Just two more questions in the chat. Can we get a copy of the presentation after this call?
Certainly. And you can share that link that we shared with you, Lorenzo.
Right. So after the presentation and everything is finished, we'll be showing this live and sharing it on our social media as well for everyone to view.
Okay.
We have another question, Miss Renecia Godfrey. How does AI system handle real-time data and updates?
Oh, very, very well. So it excels when it comes to any forms of data. As you might have seen, these models are now multimodal. So not just text, images, audio, speech, for example, and it's streamed in and streamed out to the point at which it's almost real time. Very little delay. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you.
Yannick, I saw your hand up was up for a brief moment. You have another question?
No, after Dr. Yaw spoke, I thought, Eldon, I'm happy once I get signed up and we work this thing for a few months, happy to report back to THAG on how it's working, how it's developed. Don't mind being a guinea pig. I think something that's really needed for Guyana customer service. It'll help a great lot.
Absolutely.
All right. If no more questions, that brings our presentation and the webinar to a close.
Lorenzo.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just want, sorry, just before you wrap up, I just wanted to thank Eldon for a wonderful presentation and bringing AI to our attention. Very often we can get very caught up in our day-to-day and getting things ready for our guests. So I'm very happy that that's happening. I too, like Yannick, I'm very enthused. I deliberately did not ask the content for today's session. And so I'm hearing everything for the first time. And like Yannick, I am definitely ready to try to test it and to see how this can lend to the improvement of our customer gathering information that could be beneficial in the future. So thank you once again, Lorenzo. Thank you so much. And for the ladies of the Secretariat for pushing Eldon. Eldon, I'm happy that you're feeling better. We look forward to working together to see how we can truly hit this one out the park as well. So thanks again.
Please.
And thanks for everyone for tuning in as well.
Thank you so much, Dee. All right, again, if no further questions, that brings us to a close. And I appreciate everyone taking the time out of their busy schedule to attend this webinar. This is our first THAG Talks, and we do hope you support us for the next episode. Thank you so much. Thank you, Eldon, again. A magnificent job.